Hey guys, it's Jimmy here. This is the fourth video in my Hollow Rocket League series for beginners, and today we're going to be looking at basic aerials. What are aerials? If you've done the basic Rocket League tutorials or been playing for a while, then you should know what aerials are. If you don't know, aerials are basically when you use your boost to fly. So why should you learn aerials? Because what even is Rocket League without aerials? Aerials are everything every beginner dreams about, and should dream about. It's what makes the game fun, amazing, cool, whatever you name it. But let's not get too carried away. In this video, I'm going to give a breakdown of the mechanic, so how to actually do aerials, some helpful tips on how to practice aerials with training, and how to implement them in game. So, let's get started. So let's start with the mechanics. How do we actually do an aerial? In the interest of simplicity, I'm going to explain things in terms of keyboard and mouse, which is what I play. But if you're a controller player, just remember that you use your left analog stick to control your car in the air. So, to do an aerial is simply jumping, tilting your car back, and then boosting to get height. So you should already know how to jump, that's your right click. To tilt your car back in the air, you need to press S. So on the ground when you press S, your car reverses, but when you're in the air, it actually tilts your car back. Pressing W will have the opposite effect of tilting your car forwards. However, when you press A and D, it doesn't tilt your car, but it actually changes the direction of the nose of the car. So, we want to jump, tilt back, and then left click, and we're boosting. And that is your basic aerial. So if you've literally just started the game, I encourage you just to try that. Go into free play, jump, tilt back, and boost. And get comfortable with just doing that, and maybe even you can jump and tilt back almost simultaneously. And then you can also add in the boost. Until all three motions become, you can do simultaneous, jump, tilt back, boost. So you can see on my keyboard overlay, I'm doing all three at the same time. And it shouldn't be too difficult just to get that going. Okay, so you know how to do an aerial now and you can kind of fly. But hitting the ball is a completely different story. And essentially we know that in the game situation, the ball is moving. So how do you even hit it? Well, first thing I want you to learn is to actually get comfortable with actually flying through the air. So this free play drill is really helpful for that. So what you want to do is reverse into your goal, and you want to aerial and fly towards the opposite goal and touch the crossbar. Okay? So like I just taught you, you want to jump, tilt back, boost, and then you fly towards the opposite crossbar. Oh, make sure you turn off your ball cam as well. Okay, something really important to note which I'm doing here is I'm doing something called feathering my boost. So I'm not holding my boost the whole way, but I'm actually tapping it, as you can see. I'm tapping the boost, and that helps me maintain the height that I want. If I hold the boost the whole way, you can see what happens. You just keep going up and you lose control, right? So you want to feather your boost by tapping it continuously to maintain the height you want. If I don't tap it continuously, then I start losing altitude, right? So I want you to try this in free play, and just to practice getting a good feel for what it feels to be flying through the air and feathering your boost so that you can tap the opposite crossbar. Okay, so your goal is to every time to touch the opposite crossbar. Don't worry too much about your A and D, your left-right controls. Right, so just start with your car aligned towards the crossbar, and just work on keeping this height. There we go. And once you get more comfortable with this, then you can start playing around. Right, you can tilt a bit more forwards, tilt back, go right, go left, but always touching the crossbar. And doing this free play drill even 5 minutes a day will help you improve your basic aerials a lot. And even at a higher level, you know, people use this drill, whether it's for practicing their aerial car control like this or doing other things. it's very helpful. Alright, so now that you're somewhat more comfortable with flying through the air, let's look at actually hitting the ball. The two best ways to train this would be to use the default Rocket League aerial training and custom training packs. So let's start with the default Rocket League training. So I see a lot of people jumping straight to Pro, or even All-Star, but please start with the rookie training. First thing to note, don't fly from where you start. See a lot of people just aerial from where they start, like that, right? I don't recommend this. Why? In a game, you might not have that much boost to fly that far, and it's often just slower and more difficult. So, you want to drive as close as possible or flip your way there, and take off close to the ball and aerial it from there, okay? To start with, just focus on actually contacting the ball. So make sure you line your car up with the ball. If it's not in line, it's quite hard to adjust, as you can see. So always when you're driving there, you're making sure that your car's in line with the ball. And you hit the ball there. Alright? The side of the ball that you contact the ball will also affect the direction. So as you can see, the ball is slightly to the right of the goal. So I want to align my car slightly to the right of the ball. So if I hit on the right side, it will go left and into the goal. So basic kind of physics right there. If I hit the ball straight on, then it's going to miss, as you can see. Remember, when I'm flying, also to feather your boost. Yeah? Like I taught you, you want to feather your boost to give you better control. And the other thing to note is what part of the car you're hitting the ball with. So if I hit it with the bottom of my car, it's a really soft touch, which is usually not what you want. You want to hit it with the nose of your car to get that powerful hit. How do we do that? Sometimes you've got to press W to tilt the car forward when we're hitting the ball. So remember, when we're jumping up, we use S to tilt back, but when you want to hit the car, you want to use a nose. So sometimes you've got to press W and tilt the car down. And there we go. So work through all these shots and get comfortable with them, because these are the most realistic shots that you're going to be getting in games at your current level. And I think there may be some moving shots at the end of this pack, I'm not too sure. But if not, you definitely want to try the Pro aerial training, as the first few ones are higher, but I know towards the end there are definitely shots where the ball's actually moving. Okay, and whilst it might seem very difficult, I encourage you to try it and just focus on actually just getting a touch on the ball. Yeah, don't worry if you're actually scoring or not. Just actually touching the ball is your first step before you are looking to score the ball. Yep, so this is the later shots in the Pro training pack where the ball's actually moving. So it's flying through the air, and this is substantially more difficult obviously than a stationary ball. So to start with, just focus on actually getting up into the air and getting a touch on the ball. Don't worry about if you're scoring it or not, just want to get a touch on the ball. And that's your first step. If you can consistently touch the ball, then that is a really good achievement, and you'll be ready to focus on where you're actually hitting the ball. Remember, you need to line your car up straight with where you think the ball is going to go. So, you want to look at the trajectory of the ball and try to predict where the ball is going to go. And that's how you're going to score these aerials. You don't want to be changing the direction of your car in the air, because that's really difficult. And just remember, with these or custom training packs or even the default training, you can always reset the shot. And I've bound it to my left control, which is quite easy. So yeah, just keep trying the same shots, and don't move on until you can consistently hit the ball, get a touch on it, or whatever you're satisfied with. Let's look at custom training. One training pack I definitely recommend is this one called Novice Aerials by Wayprotein, which I've included the training code for in the description. This training pack has a wide variety of aerial shots, and it's likely that you'll find it quite challenging. but don't be discouraged. Even if you can't hit every shot, I encourage you to give it a go and just to focus on consistently hitting the ball with an aerial, even if you can't make the shot. Some of these shots will also have a low countdown, which means that if the ball touches the ground after the timer runs out, you fail the shot, so you'll need to hit the ball directly into the goal. Also remember to feather your boost, like I showed you before, and one thing I didn't mention is you can use your second jump to get up extra high or extra fast, which will be useful for a lot of the harder shots in this pack. But I would recommend you to check out Kevperts' fast aerial tutorial if you're interested in that, which I've also linked in the description below. The rest of this video will just show me doing the shots in this training pack, so feel free to follow along and use it as a guide if you need help in doing any of these shots. So let's discuss the final theme. How do we actually implement aerials in game? Or in other words, how do we practice them in games? So let me start by saying, don't play ranked to practice your aerials. I think in ranked there's just a bit too much pressure and kind of just sucks if you're getting scored on every time that you make a mistake. So play casuals, and I think the best game in for this is actually casual 3s. I think in 2s, just having one teammate can feel a bit risky, and 1s is obviously even more risky, and 4s is simply too chaotic. So I think 3s is actually the best game mode for this, and the way to do it is just to go for every aerial opportunity that you see. And this doesn't mean being a ball chaser, because we don't want to be a bad teammate and just chase the ball around the field and not rotate, but if the opportunities are there, just go for them and don't be scared to miss. We all start somewhere, and I think eventually if you keep practicing and training and just being confident, you'll get a feel for the timing and you'll eventually hit some aerials and you'll get better at it. So that pretty much is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any feedback or comments or whatnot. But if not, I will see you guys next video.